Hello, welcome to Skillshare, the positive gaming podcast from YMC Exeter. My name's Andy,
And my name is Becky.
and yes, once again, we are here remote. We
Remote
are,
again.
there are
We've
changes.
rewound.
Yeah, it feels so very COVID.
It feels so
Um,
COVID.
but hopefully come January type time, there'll be
We
some
might have some space
news.
again.
You might have some space. There might be a difference. There might be a new. We might be back in the studio. We'll see what happens. But
Yeah,
Becky, it's good to hear your voice.
it
All
is.
those.
And yeah, and I'm not croaking so much. Yay.
So coming up, we have, if I can find my notes, we're going to be talking a little bit about some research that we missed back in August about mental health and gaming. We have the game of the week, which has a little bit of a Doctor Who flavour this week.
Of course it does.
It's the 50th anniversary. How can I not? But first things first, we have gaming news.
Gaming news. Yeah, our first piece of gaming news today is the League of Legends Esports Final 2024 will be held in London's O2 Arena. League of Legends is a multiplayer online arena game that pits two teams of five against each other. Launched in 2009, its World Championships, known as Worlds, have grown into Super Bowl style events. This year's finals, which have finished this weekend, were held in South Korea. Korean team T1, led by esports superstar Lee Zhang Hyuk, aka Faker, beat Chinese rivals Weibo Gaming to reclaim the championship. Fans will have to wait till next November for the team's title defence in London, which will be the gaming's second biggest event in the UK in recent years. 2023 has been a tough year for esports, along with other areas of the games industry, which has seen high profile team closures, bleak predictions for the future. We've talked a lot about this year. It's been a sad year for gaming. But it was always going to be a downfall after COVID because COVID was such a big kick.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's still good to kind of, yeah, just be aware of like massive events like this because you still have people who kind of look at gaming and go, well, why do you want to do that? That's such a niche thing. That's such a
Yeah,
known thing that no one's interested in.
yeah,
Well, actually, we have events going on like this which completely show that's not true at all whatsoever.
yeah. And it's not even like in one of the side bits of the O2. It's literally in the arena, and they're like, it's like a big event, and they play in the middle, and they put it up on the screens, and then they have like big audiences, and it's like they blast music and have like
It's huge.
snacks and stuff going on. It's massive. It's huge. It is. It's a massive event, and it's really like loud and noisy, and it's not like
And
it's not
it's
like
not just the fact that you've got people there, you've got the money involved in it as
in
well
that.
to
Yeah,
be able to
yeah,
hire out the O2 Arena.
yeah. It's
But
crazy.
massive.
It looks like it's going to be a crazy event, and I'm sure there'll be people around who want to get tickets to it. I'm sure that they'll get sold out. It'll be crazy. Um, yes, our second piece of gaming news this week is Epic Games has revealed Fortnite's next big live event, the Big Bang. The Big Bang begins on Saturday, the 2nd of December at 11 a.m., with Epic saying the event marks a new beginning for Fortnite. I think they say that every time they have one of these. Before the event begins, Epic says players will see Big Bang in Battle Royale tile in the Discover section of Fortnite 30 minutes prior to its start. That way you can jump in before the event starts to link up with your friends and get your cosmetics in order ready to play the game. The Big Bang will support parties of up to 4 players, and you'll be able to play the version of the game on your normal consoles as well as the Xbox Cloud Gaming and Amazon Luna. Yeah, so the next big chapter for Fortnite. Surprise, surprise, they seem to have one every few years.
I mean, it's the key, isn't it, to keeping a thing going. If you can have
Yeah.
a mechanism to kind of refresh it every couple of years or every couple of
Mm,
months,
yeah.
fantastic. And this one, I don't know if you ever listened to, the immortal words of the real Slim Shady back in the day, but he is all over. He's going to be on the title screen and all that sort of stuff for this. So, if you're a fan of rap,
Do you mean Eminem?
yes.
You don't mean the real Slim Shady? That's how much we know about rap. Yeah, I mean,
But
it'll
what
be
was
really interesting.
wasn't Slim Shady like
I,
his character?
it was a song, wasn't it, where he did some shady. I guess, yeah, I guess he did play a
It's
bit of,
like the
and
character.
then yeah, a couple of songs he sort of played the character of Slim, but the rapper's name is Eminem.
Oh, yeah, I forgot his name. I was being very pleased.
Um, yeah, it'd be interesting. Like, I mean, Fortnite's an interesting one, isn't it? Like, can you remember back in the day when it was new and it was such a luxury and everyone was like, "This is amazing," and now it seems to be there are like I think our young people still play it quite a lot, like at youth club and stuff. And it clearly still does get played, but not like it sort of went through a really big hype stage when it first came out, and then now it's like,
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think it was huge.
yeah,
I
it's
think,
still
you
huge,
know,
but less huge.
but you've got other kind of games that are kind of competing for people's
Yeah.
time. It's in
Yeah,
the
I think
sort
it
of
was a fairly new concept when it first came out, right? And then now, like, people have cottoned onto it and gone, we could do that too. So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I haven't played Fortnite in ages, and and actually, Andy sent me a text the other day of me trying to play Fortnite during COVID. If you want to like find that, but by all means, there's probably on the Facebook page of the one day somewhere. It's me trying to play
I
Fortnite.
should probably upload that somewhere onto like Blind Tips the Gaming YouTube at some point.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience. I died a lot. Um, that's okay. Um, my tactic used to be just to parachute into a tree and hide there until the end of the game. When the arena getting
That is
smaller, you'd
one
have to
way
like
to
move
get
trees.
that is one way to win though. If you can
Yep,
hide from everyone else and then take out the last man standing when he's
yep,
busy with the other person,
yep.
that's a win, right?
That's me. Um, anyway, our final
Certainly
piece of
legitimate
gaming
technique.
news. Our final piece of gaming news this week is the annual BFX Festival is currently running at Bournemouth University. Subjects being discussed include the impact of AI on the animation and computer games industry. The festival showcases the visual effects work of the National Centre for Computer Animation and features speakers who are well known, who have worked on well-known films, games, and adverts. The festival was established in 2012, has grown into one of the largest gatherings of its kind in the UK. The 6 day festival featuring masterclasses, workshops, and screenings is aimed at inspiring young creatives to it and allowing industry professional to academics to discuss current issues. Half of British adults play video games, and the industry is worth £2.8 billion to the UK economy. Saturday will also see workshops aimed at young people and families and anyone who is interested in video effects, animation, and producing games. It's a big event. I didn't realize it was happening. Otherwise, I think like might try and go down there. Like it's not, we're not that far from Bournemouth. And also then like if you are still like interested, tomorrow they're going to be like loads of family events and stuff on, which will be really fun. Um, and it's a big conference. It's like a nationwide conference. People come down to Bournemouth for in the gaming industry.
Yeah, I think I kind of semi-promised to start putting Christmas decorations up to the small one, but maybe
It's yeah,
what what I am intrigued, not intrigued with, the bit I want to shout about is half of British adults play video games, and the industry is worth £2.8 billion to the UK economy.
yeah. Well, it's why these events are getting so much bigger, is
Hmm.
because actually this is worth money to people and it's a big industry. Like, so these kind of conferences and things will probably continue to grow in size and the number. And I think we'll be talking more and more about this video game conference and that video game conference and what's being said and what's being talked about. And AI is a big one this year because that's like it's been talked about by everyone, every industry. Um, it's just trying to mitigate the effects it's going to have on them. So yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah, I mean, it would have been really interesting to like go down and hear what they were saying next time. We'll be more aware.
And maybe next year we can, do some live recording or something like that from
Yeah,
Bournemouth.
yeah.
Right, so back in August, I don't know if you remember that. We were on holiday a
Way
lot.
away now.
Yeah. It was sunny outside, we had a lovely studio.
Oh yeah. I don't know whether
It
to
was
do
a
it.
different time.
Different time.
Am I anyway, let's just move on from that.
Reminiscing.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Um so there was something that we kind of missed back there because there's some other things going on. But according to let's say newish research, online gaming communities could be a vital lifeline for young men struggling silently with mental health issues. I'm reading this bit now. The research analysed an all-male online football gaming community over the course of a year. We discovered that, or they discovered, I should say, that members who reported more depressive symptoms and less real life or in person on site support were roughly 40% more likely to form and maintain social ties with fellow gamers compared with those reporting more real life support. This finding suggests that the chat and community features of online games might provide isolated young men a anonymous third space or space where people can congregate other than work or home to open up, find empathy, and build crucial social connections they may lack in real life. So, and then the article goes on to talk about why this matters. A few things. Thing number one, and I totally tripped myself over it in that I personally struggle with whole kind of online real life language because that suggests that what you do online, that's not in real life.
Yeah.
And for some reason, what happens online matters less, and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Personally, I kind of prefer language like either online, offline, or on site. Maybe in person, but there's arguments why that's also slightly problematic as
Yeah.
well. Just because you're in front of a computer doesn't mean you're not a person anymore.
Yes.
But that is my personal niggle about it, because I think it's good to see a decent bit of research done around the positive mental health benefits of playing online games. And I think this shows, and this very much shows actually this can be a positive hobby for people. It shows a alternative way of finding support, in that when we talk about going to find support for your mental health, the stereotype of that is talking to a guy in a room somewhere, and we call that counseling, and that is good, and that is very helpful. That's not for everyone and all the time. And I think it also reframes what may appear to be someone just kind of shutting themselves off a little bit and quote unquote just gaming online.
Yeah.
Was that could appear to be the case to people. Actually, it's that person having that social connection, that third place away from work and school or whatever. And we've got research here that actually shows, this is could be what they are doing.
Yeah.
And one reason why I'm quite pleased that we actually came across this now rather than summer is that there's lots of holiday time coming up. It's like Thanksgiving if you're in America, big holiday
Yeah.
weekends. We've
It's
got Christmas coming up.
Christmas.
Exactly. And there's this kind of expectation that for like 2 weeks you are with people all the time.
Yeah.
And actually sometimes, you know,
We
I
want to
just
be
want
with.
to be online.
Here's an interesting one for you, Andy.
Hmm.
So there's some psychology that suggests that when you are not looking at someone, it's
Hmm.
easier to talk to them because you're not feeling confronted, you're not feeling so actually it's easy to express your emotions than it
Hmm.
is if you are looking directly at someone in the eyes, basically. So that is like so within like well-being stuff and all the kind of stuff that I do in terms of my work. A lot of the time people will suggest like going for walks and things because sometimes it makes it easier if the person is next to you rather than like looking at you. And
Hmm.
it makes it like they feel like they can talk more if they're not being like if it doesn't feel like the person is in your face, basically. I wonder if there's some of that around this, that actually if you're not directly looking at the person, you can talk more, you feel like you're freer to sort of say what you want to say rather than like if you're looking at a person, it becomes very like confrontational and very difficult sometimes to get your emotions out.
Hmm.
So I wonder if you've had like that experience of like, do you find it easier when you're not looking at someone to talk about how you feel,
Totally.
or
Totally. I mean, yeah, it's like particularly in work, it's like so much easier to like go for a walk with someone
yeah,
and talk about stuff than it is to sit down and wreck
not the
your
book is
your bookcase behind you.
yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
think, do you
no,
think there's like an element of that with this sort of thing as well? Like, actually,
I think
it's much
so.
easier.
Because you're also doing a task at the same time, aren't you?
Yeah,
Um,
distraction. Yeah, that's
yeah, which
another
which could
technique.
be another element there. And when you combine those things, not forgetting the slightly anonymous kind of aspect of it as well. So I think you've got a few elements to at play in that it's easier to be honest with someone you don't know,
Mm,
or at least don't necessarily see day to day. So I say don't know. That's not really what I mean. It could be a case that um there's that freedom and not seeing them face to face on a daily basis. And again,
yeah.
that kind of brings us back to counselling. In that one advantage of counselling is actually you are sharing and you're talking through this stuff with this person in this place rather than a friend who you might see at the pub
Yeah.
or and knows your wife, your partner, and your all the rest of your friends, and so on and so forth, or your work colleague and things like that. You have that kind of safety there.
Mm,
But yeah, I think there are a few parts, a few different elements that are at play here, and so therefore we shouldn't ever really kind of write off people who appear to be like escaping to their place to play video games online because
mm.
they could be doing any of the above that we just talked about.
And now it's time for Andy's game of the week. Andy, what is your game this week?
So, confession time. I'm a massive Doctor Who fan, and it's
No.
the anniversary as of
What a surprise!
yesterday. And I'm like, so therefore, I can't let this moment pass without just noting it in some way. And so I'm going with Doctor Who: The Lonely Assassins, which is
Okay,
what's known as a found phone mystery game, which is almost exactly what
right.
it says on the tin, in that you've within the game, you find a phone. The phone rings, and then this mystery kind of starts to build up from this phone. Now, and the mystery builds by like accessing things like data, phone kind of picture messages, photos, voicemails,
Yep.
and so on and so forth. There can be an element of remote accessing systems and things like that from the phone as well. So that's kind of the basic kind of idea behind the game. The game itself, well, according to the publicity, um, amidst a sinister series of events at a seemingly abandoned house in London, someone goes missing and you find their phone. When it begins to self-destruct, ex-unit scientist Osgood enlists your help to uncover hidden clues and solve cryptic puzzles. Will you unravel the truth behind the chilling disappearance before it's too late? But remember, don't turn your back, don't look away, and don't blink.
I mean, that sounds very Weeping Angels.
A little bit.
Mm,
It's a little bit of a sequel to the episode Blink.
okay.
I would argue that this is probably the best Doctor Who video game out there.
I mean, the Lego Dimensions Doctor Who bit was one of my favorite. Have you ever played that?
I've got to admit, I've not played that.
Yeah, it's so
And
good.
I
It's
imagine if
and
there
you can
is
get
one, I
in the
would be best to
TARDIS,
do that one.
and every time you die, you come back as a different Doctor.
I mean,
It's great.
genius. I mean, there needs to be a full, proper Lego Doctor Who game. Russell T Davis,
That would be
please.
great. Yeah,
Come
Lego Doctor
on.
Who game. Surely they go hand in hand, right?
It has to happen. I mean, the thing about this game is that it kind of plays very well, and I played it on the phone, but you can get it on things like Steam and Switch and things like that. It just plays very well, kind of telling the story using its kind of confined um, engine. In that it doesn't go too far, you're not platform. It's not a platformer. There's no shoot 'em up sections. It's quite basic in what it can do. So therefore, I guess it has to be a little bit more creative in its cutscenes, and it's all from the point of view of the phone and things like that. But yeah, it's quite cheap. So worthwhile check out if you're a Doctor Who fan.
Mm. Well, that is all we have time for today on our podcast. Please do find us on all social medias at YMCA Exeter and at YMCA Exeter Games. We are, hopefully at some point we will be back in a studio. So we're not trying to do this digitally. But yes, we will be back next week. So we'll see you then. Bye bye.